To Couch Casual, where today I'm going to be giving my 2024 NFL Draft grades for every single team. And I think how I'm going to go about this is I'm going to try and consider value as well, not just the player that they picked. But bear in mind with the later picks, I'm not too familiar with these players. But let's get right into it with the Chicago Bears. So obviously they get Caleb Williams, the obvious pick. Then they take Rome Odunze. They get the tackle from Yale. Don't know how to pronounce his name. They get Torrey Taylor, punter from Iowa. Really good punter. If you watched Iowa's offense, you would know. And then Austin Booker, I thought was a steal in the 5th round out of Kansas. And I'm going to be using this tier list to rank every team. I'm actually going to give the Bears, for now, this could all be reworked, I'm going to give them an S tier for now. S tier draft. I think they had one of the best drafts. You get the best quarterback. You get potentially you get the third best receiver, at least based on when he was drafted. And you get you get a tackle, and then Booker, who I really like. For now, I'm going to give the Bears an S tier draft. Moving on to my Carolina Panthers. Now, we didn't have a first round pick, but we traded up and got a first round pick. I like the fact of trading up because you get that 5th year option. We get Xavier Legette, I believe is how it's pronounced. South Carolina receiver. I really like Legette. It was obviously him or Mitchell, and I think based on what the Panthers need fit-wise, I think Legette was the better pick. Then they trade up and get a running back. Now you're probably wondering, you traded up for a running back. I think we have to just stop all this talk about running backs. They're valuable in my opinion, especially we say the running back position's not valued, but people mainly look at it as you don't pay running backs, so why can't you draft them? So I like the pickup of Jonathan Brooks and his Texas teammate Jatavian Sanders in the 4th. I thought that was a great pick. They also get a good linebacker in Trevin Wallace, Chow Smith-Wade corner, a D tackle, and a linebacker. I'm gonna give the Panthers a B for their draft. I really like Legette and Brooks and Sanders as well, so I'm gonna give them a B. Then we move on to the Arizona Cardinals. Now, obviously, they get Marvin Harrison. They had a lot of picks here. They get Marvin Harrison, great pickup. Darius Robinson, I like that. I really like the Max Melton pickup out of Rutgers. Trey Benson, arguably the running back 1, him or Brooks. I like the Cardinals draft. I'm going to give them an A. I'm going to give the Cardinals an A draft. Then we move on to a very controversial draft. The Atlanta Falcons. They take Michael Penix. I think people are over-hating this pick. Now, I don't think it was the right pick for the Falcons, just because of how because Michael Penix is on the older side and Kirk Cousins is going to be your quarterback for 3 years. So I don't know if he's the best fit for Atlanta, and maybe 8 was a little bit of a reach. I'm not too familiar with the Clemson D-tackle. I know they needed D-line help. That's why I thought they were going to take Dallas Turner at 8. But they get Braylon Trice, who's a pretty good edge himself. But again, I'm not too crazy about this draft. I'm gonna give the Falcons draft a D. I'm still gonna give it a D. I almost wanted to give it a C, but I feel like we're not gonna have enough people in that D tier, so I'll give the Falcons a D for their draft. But I think people giving it an F are a little they're overreacting in my opinion. Then we go to the Ravens. They get Nate Wiggins. I really like Nate Wiggins. Super fast. Devontae Walker I thought was great value in the 4th round, but even better value I thought was TJ Tampa, a corner out of Ohio State. Adisa Isaac was a great pick in my opinion. Not too familiar with Rosengarten. They do need tackle, so I feel like need-wise that was a good pick. But I really like this Ravens draft. Considering, you had a good season, your picks aren't super high, I'm going to give them a B. for their draft. I'm going to give the Ravens a B. And then we get to the Bills. Now, people don't like the Bills draft because they traded back, let the Chiefs get Xavier Worthy. Then they traded back again, let the Panthers get Xavier Legette. They still end up with Keon Coleman, who I think is still a good receiver. They get safety Cole Bishop, D-tackle Dwayne Carter, a running back. I really like the Van Pran Granger pick. I think that was amazing value in the 5th. So, people really hate the Bills draft, but I still like Coleman. I really like Granger. So I'm going to give them a C for the Bills. I'll give them a C for their draft. Then we get to the Cincinnati Bengals. When will the Bengals get Burrow protection? It was this year. They get Amarius Mims out of Georgia, a massive human being. So I really like that pick. Chris Jenkins, son of NFL legend. I really like the Jermaine Burton pick as well. I thought that was a good 3rd round pick for the Bengals. I'm going to give the Bengals an A. I almost gave them a B, but I'm going to give them an A. They might get bumped down. We'll have to see. But for now, I'm going to give the Bengals an A. The Browns. The Browns didn't have many picks, because the Deshaun Watson trade. Michael Hall, 2nd round, 22 overall, 22nd pick in the 2nd round, Amazing value, in my opinion. One of the better interior D tackles in this draft. Zach Zinter. Don't know too much about him. I just know Michigan's run game was great. So I would assume he's a really good guard at in the 3rd round. I'll give the Browns a B. I'll give the Browns a B for their draft. I really like the Michael Hall pick. It's tough to do with the few picks they had. So then we get to the Cowboys. So they get Tyler Guyton in the 1st. I like that because you lost Tyron Smith. Marshawn Nealon's a decent pickup. Cooper Beebe. But they really needed a running back, in my opinion. And they love Jonathan Brooks. However, I feel like they kind of messed themselves up by outwardly saying how much they like Jonathan Brooks. And the Panthers just were like, okay, they're going to take Jonathan Brooks. We like him. Let's trade up. And the Cowboys end up with no running backs. So I'm going to give the Cowboys a C, although I do like the Tyler Guyton pick out of the 1st round. Then we get the Broncos. Now, people don't like the Broncos pick or draft because they got Bo Nix at 12. I did predict that, by the way. But they say he reached, even though I feel like the Raiders were going to take him anyway. So I feel like if they wanted a quarterback, they had to take him at 12. That's just my opinion. Jonah Ellis, I like that. I really like the Troy Franklin pickup, especially pairing him up with Bo Nix. Chris Abrams-Draine, I really like. I think he's a really good corner. Teammates with Rakestraw out of Missouri. If it wasn't for Bo Nix, if they were able to get Bo Nix at 20, I think this would be arguably an A draft, maybe B, probably B. But since Bo Nix is a little bit of a reach, I'm going to give the Broncos a C for their draft. I don't think it's a D-tier draft, though. Lions. I really like the Lions draft. They didn't have many picks. As you can see, they only had 2 top 3 round picks. But they get 2 corners. They desperately needed corners. Taron Arnold could be the best corner in the draft. Some people say Rakestraw is a great corner in the 2nd round. 29th pick in the 2nd round, too. I really like the Lions draft considering the limited resources they had. I'm going to give them an A. I'm going to give the Lions an A tier for their draft. Now we move on to the Packers. So they take Jordan Morgan. You need tackle with the loss of Bakhtiari. I like Edgerrin Cooper and Javon Bullard in the 2nd round. Michael Pratt, Kalen King in the 7th. Kalen King in the 7th is a steal in my opinion. I really like the Packers draft. I'm going to give them a B. Yeah, I'm going to give them a B. Actually, what I'm going to do is hold on. No. I'm going to get rid of the S tier, and I'm going to move the Packers or Bears down to A. We'll do it like that. All right. Next up is the Texans. They didn't have many picks. Kamari Lassiter, Blake Fisher, great second-round value. Cade Stover, the sketch pick. I mean, you team me up with Stroud, so I like that. I like the Texans draft. I'll give them a B as well. I'll give them a B for their draft. Next up we have is the Colts. I like Laiatu Latu as long as his injuries don't hurt him too much. A.D. Mitchell in the second round is amazing value. Elite value, actually. Tanner Bortolini, I thought, was a great fourth-round pick. Yeah, I like this Colts draft. I'm going to give them an A. Maybe high, but I'm going to give them an A draft. And you know what? I'll actually move... No, I'll keep the Broncos there. Jaguars. Brian Thomas. They see him falling. Great pick. I don't see too much that I don't know too much about, these later picks. I'll give the Jags a C. I like the Jags draft. Not too much. No, it's an okay draft. I'll give them a C. Next, the Chiefs. You trade up, you get the fastest receiver in the draft. Potentially in football, Jaden Hicks at the 4th is a great pick. I like the BYU tackle as well. Jared Wiley, don't have too much about him, but they seem to use their tight ends a lot outside of Kelsey, so I like that pick for them fit-wise. I'll give the Chiefs a B. I'll give them a B for their draft. Chargers. People do not like how they took Joe Alt. Because, Herbert needs someone to throw the ball to. But you got him Ladd McConkey. You got him Brendan Rice. And you still get Joe Alt. Junior Colson's a great pick. I really like Cam Hart in the 5th. I love the Chargers draft. I'm going to give them an A-tier draft. Rams. I like the Rams draft. They get Jared Verse and Braden Fisk. You team them up together like Braden Fisk in the 2nd round. Blake Corum, I think, is a good pick. Cameron Kitchens, I like that in the 3rd. I'm going to give the Rams, joining their LA counterpart, an A tier. Then we get the Raiders. I think the Raiders had a decent draft. Jackson Powers Johnson, of course, great value. Brock Bowers, I thought was good. Not too familiar with anybody else. I'll give the Raiders a B for their draft. I'll move the Falcons up to C for now. I might just get rid of the D tier. It's hard you can't really evaluate. You can't put too much evaluation in these classes because you have no idea who's going to be good or not. It's such a hit or miss that it's kind of hard to give a team a D for their draft. Dolphins. Chop Robinson pick, maybe a little bit of a reach. I like Muhammad Kamara in the 5th. I really like Malik Washington. I thought that was a great pick in the 6th round. Jalen Wright was a good pick. Patrick Pauly needed some tackle help as well. I thought they would take tackle in the 1st, so I thought that was a good pick. I'll give the Dolphins a B tier. I really like the Dolphins draft. Yeah. Then we get Minnesota. Now, J.J. McCarthy, questionable maybe. Dallas Turner, I love. Kyrie Jackson's a good pick. I don't hate the J.J. McCarthy pick as much as people may. I'm going to put that B tier for the Vikings. Patriots, love the Drake May pick. Jalen Polk, questionable. Javon Baker, elite pick, in my opinion. Joe Milton, don't know what they were doing with that one. I'll give the Patriots a C. This doesn't include Drake May, by the way. Drake May, I thought, was a great pick. Everything else, Drake May is like A, B, and then everyone else brings it down to a C, in my opinion. All right, this is my opinion. Let me know what you would grade your team's draft. Did you like who your team took? Saints, I think, had a great draft. Talis Fuaga, you need a tackle. Great pick. Kool-Aid McKinstry in the 2nd is a steal. I think Spencer Rattler was a great pick in the 5th. The fact that he fell to the 5th and the Saints were able to take him because the Saints didn't, as you can see, the Saints have a first, second, but they didn't have a third or fourth. So you're able to not reach on Spencer Rattler or not have to trade up and still get your potential quarterback of the future once Derek Carr leaves. So I really like the Saints draft. I'm actually, for value, I'm going to give them an A. I like the Saints draft, unfortunately. Then we have the Giants. Malik Neighbors, amazing pick. Tyler Nubin, great pick. I like the Andrew Phillips draft. Solid draft. Not too much to say. I'll give him a B. B tier. Then we get the Jets. So they got Fashanu, tackle. I really like the tackle pick there. Malachi Corley. I was high on Malachi Corley in that like fourth-ish tier of receivers. Braylon Allen. I love Braylon Allen. Now, I know they do have Breece Hall, so we'll see how he gets used in there, but I thought Braylon Allen should have been drafted higher than the fourth. Jordan Travis, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is old. Might as well take a shot on Jordan Travis. Maybe he can work out like Jordan Love. I like the Jets draft. I'll give them a B as well. Then we get to the Eagles. Eagles had an amazing draft, in my opinion. Quinion Mitchell, one of the better corners. Cooper DeJean, one of the better corners. Get him in the second round. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., I love. Johnny Wilson's a good pick in the 6th. Eagles do it again. They always manage to get good drafts. I'm going to give them an A tier. Despite having like no picks, they always get a good draft. Steelers. I thought the Steelers had a great draft. You need O-line help. You get Fatanu and Zach Frazier. Peyton Wilson in the 3rd, despite the injury issues. The fact that you got him in the 3rd, I think is okay. Like, that kind of sort of negates the injury issues, because if he struggles to stay healthy, you only use the 3rd round pick on him. Roman Wilson's a great pick. I don't hate the Mason McCormick pick. You really beefed up that O-line, which was what you needed. You needed quarterback first, but you got that with Fields and Wilson, and now you solidify that O-line. I think Steelers had an A tier draft. Seattle. Byron Murphy. I like that pick. I like the Christian Haynes pick. Not too familiar with much else here out of Seattle. I'll give them a B for Seattle. San Fran. Now, people don't like the Ricky Pearsall pick. I like Ricky Pearsall. 31 overall. Who knows? I think Pearsall's a good pick. I don't necessarily know if I like the Niners taking Ricky Pearsall. I'm going to give the Niners a C for their draft. Tampa Bay. They get Grant Barton, good guard, good center out of Duke. I like Chris Braswell, edge out of Alabama. Bucky Irving, running back. Jalen McMillan, receiver for Washington in the 3rd. Buccaneers, I'll give them a B. I think the Bucs had a pretty decent draft. Tennessee, J.C. Latham, I really like that pick. I like the Devondre Sweat pick. Not too familiar with anybody else. I like the 1st and 2nd round picks. I'll give them a B. And lastly, we have the Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels. I love that. I think the Commanders had an A tier draft. Jerzon Newton, D tackle in the 2nd round. Great pickup. Mike Sainristil, their 2nd round was amazing. Ben Sinnott, however you pronounce it. Mike Sainristil and Jerzon Newton, all in the 2nd round. You also get Luke McCaffrey in the 3rd as well. Commanders, in my opinion, had one of the better drafts out of every team. And that concludes my grading video for every team's draft. Let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with. If you like your team's specific draft, what you would give them grade-wise. And let me know what other videos you want to see in this NFL offseason. But that will do it for me. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And also hit the notification bell so you don't miss any more amazing content. Peace.